welcome, everyone. If you look deeply enough into the nature of your own being, you'll begin to realize something quite profound. The self you think of as you is not a separate, isolated entity. It is not a fixed, unchanging point on the map of the universe. The self, in fact, is an illusion, a concept created by the mind to give us a sense of identity, a sense of individuality. And yet, this illusion is not to be dismissed lightly, for it serves a purpose in the experience of life. But it must be understood correctly. When we say, I am, what we are actually doing is identifying with a momentary form of energy. This I you think you are, this me that you are so sure of, is nothing more than a temporary manifestation of the same energy that flows through all things in the universe. Think of it like a wave in the ocean. The wave rises up, takes form, crashes, and disappears back into the sea. But there is no wave apart from the ocean. There is no wave that exists independently. The wave is the ocean, and the ocean is the wave. In the same way, the self you perceive as you is not an isolated unit, a separate individual from the rest of existence. You are like the wave, a temporary expression of the larger, ever-present ocean of life. You are not something other than the world around you, but an integral part of it. You, as a human being, are woven into the great interconnected web of energy that flows through all things. Plants, animals, stars, galaxies, and even the very earth beneath your feet. All of it is energy, all of it is connected, and all of it is one. When you look closely at yourself, you will see that every thought, every emotion, and every action arises in response to a field of forces that is beyond the individual self. Your thoughts are not your own in the way that you think they are. They arise from a complex interplay of genetics, environment, culture, and countless other influences. Your body is not an isolated organism, but a beautiful dance of atoms and molecules interacting with everything around it. Your breath flows in and out with the air around you, and your heart beats in rhythm with the pulse of the earth itself. Even the food you consume, the water you drink, and the sunlight you absorb are not separate from you. If you can step back and see the greater picture, you will realize that there is no such thing as an independent, isolated self in the way we typically think of it. The idea of a self that stands apart from the world is a mental construct, a story we tell ourselves to make sense of our experience. And while this story serves us in many ways, it also blinds us to the truth that we are not separate, but deeply interconnected with everything around us. To recognize this interconnectedness is to dissolve the illusion of isolation. It is to realize that the boundaries you have drawn between you and the world are arbitrary. You are not a solitary individual moving through an indifferent universe. You are, in fact, a part of the universe. The universe is moving through you. You are not a separate, fixed thing, but a dynamic expression of the vast, interconnected web of life. Once you grasp this, the notion of self begins to shift. You will no longer see yourself as a lonely individual fighting to carve out a place in a world that is separate from you. Instead, you will see yourself as a part of the great flow of energy that connects all things. And in this realization, you will feel a deep sense of peace and belonging, knowing that you are, and always have been, a part of something much larger than yourself. This realization doesn't diminish your individuality, it enriches it. For when you see that your existence is an expression of the infinite energy that flows through all things, you will come to understand that you are not just part of the web, but the web itself. You are the movement of the ocean, the rhythm of the stars. And so, in the recognition that we are not isolated individuals, but deeply woven into the fabric of existence, we come to understand the true nature of the self. We are the wave, the ocean, the energy in motion. We are both the dancer and the dance, the observer and the observed. We are one with the universe, and the universe is one with us. This expanded view of the nature of the self mirrors Alan Watts' core philosophy that we are not separate entities, but integral parts of the interconnected whole, and that the boundaries we perceive are only mental constructs that obscure the greater unity of all things. The illusion of separation. The mind creates the illusion of separateness. But true understanding arises when we realize that we are one with the energy around us. When we think of ourselves as separate beings, we create a veil of illusion that distorts the way we see the world and our place within it. We believe ourselves to be isolated individuals, each of us an independent entity, distinct and separate from the rest of existence. This separation is so deeply ingrained in our thinking that we hardly question it. It's as if we're playing a game where we've forgotten the rules, and the rules tell us that we are